You ever catch yourself expecting too much from a little kid, a grandkid? I had one of those moments this weekend at my grandson's soccer game, watching from the sidelines. So my two grandsons had soccer games this past weekend. Knox, the younger one, played first. Had a great game. He had fun. He hustled. He scored 2 goals. Had a couple of assists. Had a great time. And then an hour later, Hank, the 6-year-old, the older one, he had his game. And it's a little different. He usually has a lot of fun, but he was a little off today. He was a little moody. Just wasn't quite with it. His heart wasn't really in it for part of the game. But then he perked up a little bit towards the end, and by the time the game was over, he was fine. He was in a great mood. He'd been running around. He'd had fun with his friends. And best of all, there was a treat for everybody afterwards. So that's how it goes when you're 6 years old. And I thought about it afterwards, and I thought how easy it would be to lose perspective on this whole thing with 5- and 6-year-old soccer. To get wrapped up in the performance instead of the presence. To worry more about hustle than happiness. How easy it'd be to forget that this is a learning league. The kids are just 5 and 6 years old. They're just learning the rules of the game and learning to enjoy the game and getting a little exercise, learning about teamwork. They're learning how to play. They're learning how to win. They're learning how to lose. They're learning how to laugh. It's supposed to be fun. But it's a fine line, isn't it? On the one hand, we want our kids to try hard, to develop their skills, to learn to love the game, to improve. We want to cheer when they score a goal. That's just natural. Or when they really shine out there and do a great job. And that's a good thing. Encouragement matters. But it's easy to let that cross the line into pressure. And especially when your kid, your grandkid is doing well. You start to expect it. You expect the goals. You expect the assists. You expect the standout moments. And then when they have an off day, their head's just not in it, they're tired, they're in a bad mood for some reason, it can throw you off when suddenly they don't look at it as important as you might look at it. But that's part of the deal too. They're still little, they're still learning. And honestly, some of the most important learning shows up in those off days when even though their heart isn't really in it, they still learn the importance of showing up and giving it a try for the sake of their teammates and for the sake of themselves. When they keep going, even if they're not the star of the game that day or ever. So this world tries to rush our kids, our grandkids. Higher grades, higher achievements, higher performance in sports, more skills, bigger wins. But real growth doesn't happen fast just because we want it to. It happens on its own schedule, quietly, gradually, in its own time. It happens in the moments that we don't force it. So here's what I'm trying to remember. Let the kids have an off day. Let them have a bad quarter. Let them make a dumb mistake, kick the ball the wrong direction, whatever. Let them find their way through the moment, because that's where the growth is. Because that's not failure, that's just how growth works. It takes its time, it goes on its own schedule. But the most important thing is make sure they know that you are always there for them. Even on their off days, when you're cheering them up and consoling them, as well as on the days when they do great and you're celebrating with them. It's important that they know that you're there for them no matter what. That the sports, the game, the test, that's just one little piece. If it works, great. If it falls apart, well, pick yourself up and they'll know that you'll always be there for them. So, something to think about. So thanks for spending a few quiet moments with me tonight. If you've had your own experiences of having to slow down your expectations of what your kids or grandkids are going to accomplish a little bit to meet reality. If you had to slow those expectations down, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. So this has been Opa's Evening Review. Some quiet words in a loud world. Have a great evening.